Well, new developments in the Gilgo Beach case. Suffolk County prosecutors say Rex Heuermann has been charged with a 7th murder. The 24-year-old victim is Valerie Mack. She was killed in 2000 and her body parts were found in Manorville. Heuermann, the 61-year-old architect from Massapequa, previously pleaded not guilty to murder charges in the deaths of 6 women between 1993 and 2011. Joining us now is Rich Schoenstein, a trial attorney. Rich, thank you for joining us this morning.
Good to be here.
So what does this new charge mean for Heuermann in this case?
Well, it means bluntly, he has a 7th murder that he has to contend with, a 7th victim. Now, you may question what the big difference is between 6 or 7, but as the number keeps growing, the proof seems harder for him to surmount.
And with the amount of evidence that's been found so far, do you think prosecutors are going to try to delay it all to possibly find more victims to build a stronger case?
I think the prosecutors would like to find as many victims as possible, just first of all, on behalf of the victims. I mean, they're advocating for the families of the victims, these women who disappeared years and years ago, and the families have been really tortured by this ever since. So on behalf of the families, I think the prosecutors want to do as much as possible, but they also need to move the case forward. It's already an old case. Prosecutions don't get better with time, so they have to balance those two things. I don't know how close they are to finding additional victims.
Now, DNA evidence showed that Heuermann's wife's hair and daughter's hair were found near Mack's wrist and inside garbage bags. So what do you make of this?
Yeah, that is the key link, I think, to this victim that they found many years ago. Actually, you know, they found body parts in several different locations over different years. But they have this hair that the DNA supposedly matches Heuermann's daughter and or wife. That's part of the case. They have other case. They have the other women. They have some electronic evidence. But I think the DNA is very significant because there's no other way to place him at the scene of the crime.
Now, prosecutors say notes were found on Heuermann's computer, which they've called his planning document. Is that enough evidence to support his conviction?
Well, it wouldn't be alone, but in this particular case, when you have a set of victims and a similarity in the way the murders were carried out and who they were carried out against, and then you tie that in, he also has a lot of torture porn, I think, on his computer. So he's got that, and he's got the planning document. And from what I've heard, the planning document is pretty damning. You know, it has instructions on how to do these crimes and how to cover them up. It has a section labeled body prep. It has instructions on how to dispose of the body. So it might be quite a compelling document to really tie this case together.
Now, the defense may ask to move the trial out of Suffolk County or have the 7 murder charges broken into separate cases. Do you think doing this would be effective?
I don't know. That strategy, let's start with breaking them into separate cases. On the one hand, I understand why the defense might want to do that because the evidence is less compelling if you take it one case at a time than if you bring the guy into court and tell a jury he murdered at least 7 women. That's a different kind of case. On the other hand, does he want 7 trials of this evidence? That almost gives the prosecutor 7 chances to convict him. So that's an interesting strategy call that the defense is going to have to make. Plus, I'm not sure if the judge would split up the cases. And if I was defending him, I would want out of Suffolk County just because of the publicity, because of the concern in the community. I would try that too. I'm not sure that that will be successful.
All right, trial attorney Rich Schoenstein, thank you so much for your insight this morning. We appreciate it.
Glad to be here.